Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Tom.
It's our literature unit, and we're focusing on a book that actually is more famous because it was made into a film a while ago. And I never read the book, but I did see the film. And if you saw the film, you were probably a big fan of it. It was a feel-good movie. We have that sort of adjective for some films that are, you walk out of the theater and you feel happy, but feel good is an adjective with a hyphen in the middle. Feel good movie or feel good book. This was a feel good movie, but today we're focusing, of course, on the book.
Yeah, and I believe this is based on a true story, although maybe they changed things around a little bit for a dramatic effect. But in any case, we're talking specifically about the actual story itself. It is a story of strength and of sports, and if you're into those couple of things or more, then you might enjoy this book, this movie, and today's lesson. So let's get to it. Let's read the first part, and we'll be right back to discuss it.
Michael Orr lives in Memphis, Tennessee, U.S. He is a black boy from a poor African-American neighborhood. His mother is a drug addict, and she is unable to care for Michael and his many siblings. Michael's attendance at school is inconsistent. When he is 8 years old, the authorities remove him from his mother and put him in a series of foster homes. He hates the homes so much that he flees. The police go out to catch him and bring him back, but Michael always runs away again. Eventually, they stop looking for him. He doesn't have a secure home, so he sleeps on the couch at his friends' houses. By the age of 14, he is spending most nights at his friend Stephen's home. Stephen's grandmother passes away, and it is her dying wish for Stephen to go to a Christian school. Therefore, Stephen's dad brings Stephen and Michael to Briarcrest, an expensive private school. The vast majority of the students there are white and wealthy. The principal pities Michael and gives him a chance. He thinks that Michael will be an exceptionally valuable asset to Briarcrest's football team because of Michael's unprecedented size. Though he's only 16 years old, he is around 200 centimeters tall and weighs over 135 kilograms. He earns himself the nickname Big Mike. When people first see him, they are wary, but they soon realize that he is timid and withdrawn. Michael has a difficult time in the beginning and struggles academically. He must improve his grades before he can participate in sports. His teachers give him his tests orally because he can't read. Michael faces many challenges. Nevertheless, he perseveres.
Okay, let's talk about the contents of today's lesson. The title is The Blind Side, a story of strength and sports. So again, we're focusing specifically on the book today and not so much on the movie, although you're free to discuss the movie amongst yourselves if you so choose. And again, this is a story of strength and sports. Strength is basically how strong you are. I don't have the strength to lift this box. Can you help me? And of course, we like sports as well. This story is talking about American football, which is not too popular outside of the United States. There's a version in Canada that is similar, but rugby, I suppose, is the closest that you can see out here that's like American football, but it is its own sport, and a lot of people think it's kind of a dumb physical game where you just crash into each other, but there is a lot of strategy involved with this.
Yeah.
So this book does actually talk about the offensive game of football as well as the story of Michael Orr. And that's what we start the article off with in the first paragraph. It says, Michael Orr lives in Memphis, Tennessee, U.S. Memphis, of course, is one of the two major cities in Tennessee, the other being Nashville.
Right. So he is from a poor African-American neighborhood, and his mother is a drug addict. If you're addicted to something, we're using the adjective there, addicted to something, it just means you absolutely need that thing or you can't go on, right? So he's a drug addict. Addict here is the noun. So a drug addict. You can be addicted to other things. You can be addicted to video games, kids. You can be addicted to online shopping. And so he is growing up in a family that has some real difficulties, some hardships. His mom's a drug addict. His dad's gone. Of course. That happens a lot in some of these very poor communities. Fathers just take off. So the mother's having to raise quite a few kids. It says here that she is unable to care for Michael and his many siblings. Your siblings refer to your brothers and sisters. A sibling isn't male or female. You have to say, I have 7 siblings, 8 or 6 are guys or boys, and I have 1 sister. So, he's in a kind of a very precarious situation, a hard situation, and a situation that doesn't look like it's going to turn around.
Right, so Michael's attendance at school is inconsistent. Your attendance is how often you go to school.
Yeah.
I remember back in school, of course, they handed out awards for people for perfect attendance. They came to school every day. I never got that. I always got sick once or twice during the year. Or I, played hooky or something like
that.
Of course not. I'm just.
Oh, and we say play hooky or ditch class, cut class. Those are ways we talk about it. Hey, I ditched school too, but not in elementary school, Tom. I did some in junior high and high school. Yeah.
Okay, but if you're a good kid, of course, you have perfect attendance. You don't do that. And of course, Michael's attendance is inconsistent, which means it's just not regular. Okay, sometimes he goes, sometimes he doesn't go, sometimes he has other things to do. Maybe he's hanging out with friends. Maybe he has to help out his mother or something like that. So he can't always go to school. It's inconsistent. Sometimes we try to, in political discussions, we try to find the inconsistencies in our opponents. See, you said this one day, you said you supported that, but then 2 weeks later you said you were against it. So you're inconsistent. Nobody should vote for you.
Or maybe you're just inconsistent in terms of getting your chores done at home. Maybe some weeks you're really good and you clean your bedroom and do everything your parents ask you to, and then you just suddenly don't want to. You can be inconsistent with a lot of things in this life, can't you? So when he is 8 years old, the story goes on, the authorities remove him from his mother and put him in a series of foster homes. The authorities refer to people who have the ability to make you obey the law or carry out the law, or even people who have the ability to determine what rules you must follow and obey. If you don't, rules are less serious than breaking the law. If you don't follow the rules, you might have to pay a fine. Or if you're in school and you disobey the rules, you might have to stay after school in class. And that's no fun either. So the authorities, we're talking about people who work for the government here. They've determined that his home is unsafe for kids. And so they come to his house and they say, we're not going to let your mom continue to not take care of you. She didn't abuse her kids. She just was on drugs all the time. And so she would forget to feed them.
Exactly. So the government determined that he wasn't suitable to keep living in this house. So he was removed from his mother and he was put in a series of foster homes. Foster homes basically are homes that are headed by some guy whose family name is Foster, okay, like Jodie Foster, No, of course, I'm just saying that because that's what I thought it was many years ago. Foster homes, Mom, Dad, what's this foster home? Are they named Foster or something? No, in this particular case, it's a home where people are volunteering to take in orphans, usually, to take care of them. And some foster homes are great. Some foster homes have problems. My roommate in college had lived in a foster home because his parents died when he was young. And he had some horror stories to tell me about living in foster homes.
I would say the majority are not good, Tom, sadly.
That's kind of weird, though. You'd think they would be nice or something.
Nope.
But in any case, he got put into a series of foster homes, which means one after the other. He probably left one because they had problems of their own, and it just didn't work out.
Well, sometimes if you're in a foster home, you're also with other foster kids who typically have behavioral problems, let's just say. So it's a really bad or unfortunate way to grow up. I'm just going to say that. I don't know many foster kids who made it out without some problems. So once you're 18, you graduate and you can take care of yourself. But until then, the government in America can go into a home that they say is bad and remove you from your parents. Sometimes that's good and sometimes it's not so good. So it goes through this series of, when we say series of, guys, it's one after another. And he hates them so much that he flees. If you flee, you run away, but flee also has this idea that you're running away from danger. You're trying to evade or get away from people that want to they could be the police who want to arrest you or who are trying to hurt you. And at that point, the police go out to catch him and bring him back. That's what the police, part of their job, is to go and catch kids who have run away from home or their foster homes and bring them back. But Michael always runs away again, and that's what you do if you're in a bad situation.
But he was probably extra punished for running away, so it probably even made it worse.
Probably.
And eventually the police stop looking for him. He just escapes so many times.
They
just flees.
Give up,
yeah,
right?
They say, oh, what the heck, just let him run away.
Let him go.
He's going to run away again anyway if we catch him and send him back.
Right.
And that's where we're going to leave off now and take a break and listen to our Chinese teacher, but stay tuned. We'll be right back.
听众朋友大家好，我是安娜。我们今天开始连续3天要带大家看一个故事，可能这个电影你都已经看过咯，因为它真的太有名了，叫做攻其不备，英文叫做 The Blind Side。好，那如果你没有看过的话也没有关系，我们来介绍这个故事。到底主角是谁呢？主角就出现在第一句的 Michael Oher。这个 Michael Oher 他是谁呀？好，先出现到人跟地点，他是住在美国田纳西的 Memphis 这个地方。那其实 Michael Oher 他是一个来自贫穷的非裔美人社区的黑人男孩。那大概大家想到这里就可以了解到这个美国的一些这种种族啊，或者是弱势团体，没有错，因为第3句告诉你 His mother is a drug addict， 他的母亲是一个毒品成瘾者。那么成瘾这个字啊，如果当动词的话叫做 addict， 那在这里本身可以当成名词，但是注意发音叫做 addict。 你想想看，妈妈吸毒，那如果怎么会发生什么事呢？当然就没有办法照顾小孩嘛，所以他的母亲呢就没有办法照顾 Michael。 除此之外，当然 Michael 还有很多的兄弟姐妹，那在这样的情况之下，小孩子上学的出席率就会不稳定啊，所以第4句出现到了我们的出席率，这个字叫做 attendance， 因为 attend school 就是 go to school， attend a place 就表示是去一个地方，所以 attendance 就是出席率的意思。那接下来发生什么事呢？当 Michael 8岁的时候啊，相关当局就把他从母亲身边带走了。那这个所谓的当局 authorities 这个字通常都会用复数啦，如果你用单数的 authority， 它比较有 power 权力的意思。而且我们说当局啊，相关当局都会说 the authorities， 固定会加一个定冠词。那像这样子的情况，当局把他从母亲身边带走，会放在哪里呢？会安置在寄养家庭当中 foster homes， 或有时候我们说 foster families。 当然 Michael 一定会不喜欢在寄养家庭啊，事实上他非常讨厌这些寄养家庭，以至于他就经常会逃跑。那么接着呢，警察就出动，就会把他带回家，可是他还是一直会不断的再次逃跑，那最后警察也就放弃，不再寻找他了。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. It's day 1 of our literature unit. We're talking about a pretty famous book. An even more famous film, I would say, is The Blind Side. And we're talking about the main character. We call the main character in a book the protagonist. His name is Michael Oher, and he lives in Memphis, Tennessee. That's where he's from. But he grows up in a poor neighborhood. His mom's a drug addict. He has lots of siblings, and they're not being cared for well. And so one day, the authorities from the government, we call it the CPS, Child Protection Services, and some of those people aren't very good either. But they come to his home and they say, Hey, lady, you're not taking care of your kids, so we're taking them away from you. They remove him, and he probably is not put in the same foster home as his brothers and sisters, because typically they have to break you up or divide you up, sadly. And of course, you'd rather be with your own family, but a lot of foster homes don't have room for that many kids. So he hates these foster homes so much that he keeps running away. The police at first go out to catch him and bring him home. And then one day they say to themselves, what a waste of time. He doesn't want to be there. We're not going to waste any more of our time. And they stop looking for him. And that's where this story kind of starts.
Indeed, and of course it kind of makes him sort of homeless. So he doesn't have a secure home. He doesn't really have a place to call home.
No.
So he sleeps on the couch at his friends' houses. The couch, the sofa, the Davenport, it's the same piece of furniture. And by the age of 14, he is spending most nights at his friend Stephen's home. So when he's 14 years old, he's found a steady place to stay. He sleeps on the couch, the sofa of his friend Stephen, and I guess the parents allow him to stay there because otherwise they'd kick him out too. And after that, Stephen's grandmother passes away, and it is her dying wish for Stephen to go to a Christian school. So, of course, this does happen sometimes. Your grandfather, your grandmother will die, they will pass away, and they might have a dying wish, something they wish for when they die. I hope you can, do this after I die or something like that. And so her dying wish was for Stephen to go to a Christian school.
Now, if you go to a Christian school, at least in America, those schools are private schools and they cost money. Public schools are even cheaper in America than they are here, but, you get what you pay for is what we like to say. So if you're paying for a private school, you probably have better teachers, you probably have stricter rules, and you definitely have more homework. I didn't have hardly any homework growing up. So she wants her grandson to go to a Christian school, and it looks like they have some money, Tom, because it's not free, and they're usually not very cheap. So what is great is Stephen's dad also pays for Michael to go to this school. So Stephen's dad brings Michael and Stephen to a school named Briarcrest, which sounds like a private school. And it's where they actually meet some other kids, and those kids are able to change Michael's life.
Indeed, and briar, of course, is a kind of tree, so I suppose Briarcrest is a hill where there are lots of briar trees. And again, it's an expensive private school, and the vast majority of the students there are white and wealthy. So it says the vast majority, which probably means about 95% or so. There are probably 5% of minority students there, but still most of the folks there are white. They're Caucasian, and they've got money. They're rich. They are wealthy.
So the principal there, he's the person in charge of the school. He pities Michael. He feels sorry for him, and he gives him a chance. He thinks that Michael will be an exceptionally valuable asset to the football team at their school. Now, if you're an asset somewhere, you could be an asset to your company. People can be assets. You don't just have to be a thing or money to be an asset, but it's just some sort of person or thing that an organization has that is considered valuable. So he is an asset. Why? Because of his size. He's a very, very big boy, as we would say. So he is an asset, and the principal thinks, I want to help this Michael so that our football team will do better. Because they do have rules in school. If you don't have grades that are high enough, you can't participate in school sports.
Right, and he's big and he's very tall. It's unprecedented, so maybe they haven't seen anybody that tall before.
That young, at that age,
At that age, right. And again, unprecedented means it hasn't happened before. They haven't had somebody that young and that tall at their school before.
He's also very big, which means he's not skinny, okay? So he's a big guy. And because he's 200 centimeters tall and weighs over 135 kilograms, oh, they give him a great nickname. If you earn yourself a nickname, it just means you've done something or you look a certain way. That nickname, that special little name they call people that's not their real name, it kind of gets stuck on you. So all of us have nicknames. Growing up, I had a lot of nicknames. My favorite one was Stephanie Annie Bucklebum from my cousin. And she just thought it was funny because my name is Stephanie Buckley. So Stephanie, yeah. Anyway, his is Big Mike. So they call him Big Mike because obviously he's very tall and he's very large.
That's not a very original nickname there,
No.
but I guess that's what they called him instead of calling him Michael. Hey, Big Mike. They could have called him a lot worse things, so I guess that's okay. And when people first see him, they are wary, but they soon realize that he is timid and withdrawn. So here we've got the word wary, which means you're kind of afraid of something, you show caution.
Yeah.
Something might be dangerous, so you're very careful around that thing. You might be wary of, say, the new kid in school. You don't know anything about this kid, so he might be a tough guy. He might try to beat you up or something. He might have some gang connections or something, so you might be wary of him. And that's the case of Michael here. They're wary of him because he is so big, and I guess because he's black as well in an basically all-white school. So they're wary of him, but then they get to know him and they realize, hey, he's actually kind of shy. He's actually timid and withdrawn. So here, timid just means the same thing as shy. It means you don't really have a lot of self-confidence. You're afraid to talk to people. It is a little different from being shy. Timid, you could be, I guess you aren't necessarily shy if you're timid. You're just kind of scared, but you might not necessarily be shy.
I think they go hand in hand, Tom.
They're more or less the same thing,
yeah.
but there is a slight difference between them. And timid just means you're just not brave enough to ask people for favors or to stand up for yourself and stuff like that. He's also withdrawn, which means he's kind of an introvert. He's just not into talking with other people and going out with a gang to a football game or something like that. He's kind of just into himself and doesn't really talk to people. He's,
He doesn't socialize, right? So it doesn't have to be a child. It can be an adult who's withdrawn. Maybe someone's been through a horrible time, experienced abuse, or has had death in their family. Sometimes they are withdrawn. They don't want to participate in any sort of social activities. They just want to be left alone. They don't want to communicate with other people. And I can see why people are wary of him. One of the ways we use this word, guys, is to talk to little kids about strangers. Always be wary of strangers. Or if in New York City, if I went into an unfamiliar neighborhood, I was very wary. I would look around, make sure I could see what was going on, and get out of there if it looked dangerous. But he has, because of these things, he has a difficult time in the beginning, and he struggles academically. Academically just means related to your schoolwork. It doesn't matter what level you are. You could be in elementary school, junior high, high school, at college, doesn't matter. He is struggling to keep his grades up.
Yep, academic just refers to education. So you have the word academy for various schools. And here, if you're not doing well in school, we could say you're struggling academically. Basically, you're having difficulty getting good grades and passing tests and stuff like that. And he must improve his grades before he can participate in sports. That's often a requirement in schools. And his teachers give him tests orally. They say them out loud. They read them out loud because he can't read. And Michael faces many challenges. Nevertheless, he perseveres. And if you persevere, you just keep on trying. You don't give up.
Yeah, in the face of difficulty or obstacles, you just keep going. You don't give up. Right now, we're going to listen to our Chinese teacher to explain for a bit, and then we'll be back to wrap up.
那这时候怎么办才好呢？因为 Michael 没有一个可以让他感到安心的家，所以他总是就是住在朋友家嘛，而且睡在他们的沙发上。接下来第二段的第一句，我们看到这个安心的、令人安全的。 看到的是一个 secure S-E-C-U-R-E 这个形容词，其实就是 safe 的意思。那他住在朋友的这个沙发上，一直到几岁呢？一直到14岁，都是在朋友家度过。而且这个朋友呢，我们出现另外一个配角，这个朋友叫做 Steven， 出现在第二段的第2句的地方。那么 Steven 后来因为他的祖母过世，但是因为他的祖母呢有一个 dying wish， 有个遗愿，就是希望 Steven 能够进入到一所基督教学校去就读。所以在这个祖母过世之后啊， Steven 的父亲就带着 Steven 还有 Michael 真的就到了这个基督教学校。这个基督教学校的名字叫做 Briarcrest 出现在第2段第4句的地方。它是一个很昂贵的私立学校哦，而且那里绝大多数的学生都是白人跟有钱人。我们第5句可以特别看一下，大多数这个名词叫做 majority， M-A-J-O-R-I-T-Y， 相对它的少数叫做 minority， M-I-N-O-R-I-T-Y。好，当然白人啊，有钱人啊，有钱嘛，读得起私立学校。那校长为什么会让黑人 Michael 进来呢？因为其实他校长啊是蛮同情 Michael 的，而且同时这个校长是认为 Michael 有可能成为 Briarcrest 美式足球队的超级得力战将哦。为什么？因为 Michael 的体型基本上是前所未有，校长没有看过这样子适合打美式足球的体型的人的学生。好，所以我们看一下第2段第7句，在这里看到一个很重要的一个单字，在最后面的地方，注意它的发音哦，叫做 unprecedented。中间的字根我们先看一下 C-E-D-E 其实就有 go 的意思，那它的字首 pre 就是之前，再加上一个字首 un 表示否定，就表示之前从来没有出现过，所以在中文里面真的就翻成前所未有或者是史无前例的意思。那 Michael 体型到底如何呢？他虽然16岁，但是身高已经将近200公分，体重超过135公斤耶。所以接下来的第9句，大家就给他这个绰号叫做 Big Mike。第9句这里的动词用的蛮特别，用 earn赢得或者是赚得这个动词，不过后面加上受词之后，再直接加上补语 He earns himself， 他为自己赢得了 the nickname Big Mike， 直接加受词补语。不过啊，因为他体型太大，所以大家第一次见到他会觉得很 wary， 心存戒备。可是很快就发现，其实他非常的 shy， 很害羞，而且呢又很内向 withdrawn。当然一入学的时候 Michael 就遇到了一些困难，而且学业上就是没有办法做到。我们看一下11句的地方，在这边有一个动词叫做 struggle 就是很挣扎很努力，但是几乎没办法做到的意思。这个 struggle 后面接了一个副词叫做 academically， 指的是在学业上的。言下之意就是他一定要提高成绩才能够有资格参加体育活动，不过因为他又不识字，所以他的老师就让他口试，所以整个期间 Michael 就面临到很多的挑战。不过尽管如此，他还是坚持不懈 He perseveres。 故事会怎么发展呢？我们明天继续收听。我是安娜，我们明天见。
That's it for today. Make sure you join us again next time when we continue to talk about The Blind Side, our featured work of literature for the month of April. We look forward to seeing you then again. From all of us here at English Digest, my name is Tom.
And I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
See you later.